And that was on News in 90 Seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning we give you a view of what's happening out there on the roadways in Tobago. Right, you're watching right now the Wilson Road traffic light. And we're seeing quite a free flow of traffic for this time of the morning, actually. And you know what we're going to do is try to attribute that to school being closed. Because usually when you look at that Plymouth Road coming in to Scarborough at this time, it's usually quite congested, going all the way up to Coast Cutters with traffic sometimes. And so this morning we're seeing quite a free-flowing movement of traffic on that Claude Noel Highway at the Wilson Road traffic light, and we hope that it stays that way for the rest of the morning. So for those of you who are still trying to get into work, you may not catch the 8 o'clock, but let's hope that you get in by 8:30. Right, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome. And this morning we are chatting a bit about one of the items that you saw in On News in 90 Seconds. We spoke about the fact that new sanitary infrastructure has been implemented at No Man's Land, and we know that this has been a conversation for quite a while. Actually, a conversation that made it quite difficult for the persons who are vending on No Man's Land to justify them being there because there was not the proper infrastructure for health and safety approvals. And so this morning I have the privilege of sitting in studio and chatting with a guy that is no stranger to us here on Tobago. There's Mr. Ricardo Alfred, who is actually the president of the Tobago Water and Trails Association. Good morning and welcome.
Yes, good morning and good morning.
So this has been an issue for quite a while. Persons were vending out there, and it has kind of become a part of the No Man's Land culture now, or in recent time, within the last 2 years, for persons to want to go out to No Man's Land and on that visit actually engage in buying drinks and buying food. At one point, there was a huge crackdown over there because there was insufficient infrastructure to facilitate the type of business being done there. We're talking about toilet facilities, running water, and just the basic necessities needed for persons to sell food and drinks, right? Even there was the issue with the licensing for alcohol as well. And so your organization, in collaboration with the Division of Infrastructure, has made this investment in Tobago through providing this portable toilet facilities and running water. Tell us a bit about the inception of this project and if I'm correct, about where this whole thing started.
Right, so good morning to all. So just to be clear, No Man's Land has always been a space where part of the reef tour, there's a part of it where they go to No Man's Land, where sometimes you have some of the patrons from our operators of these reef boats that will prepare a light meal on No Man's Land. It was part of the tour experience. Then you have an influx of some food vendors who been across there and provide a much needed service. My association represents the food vendors, the jet ski operators, reef boats, and the ATV users, so that it is to provide that level of comfort and to buy some level of organization to this structure. The food vendors, because I saw what was happening, and I know that very soon an incident can occur as relates to maybe food poisoning or something like that, So it was a need where we met with the vendors and conversation, and then we made the investment of buying this toilet and getting the material of all the brass fittings and stuff like that to get the much needed facility across there. I would really want to thank the division through the secretary and the administrators, the administrator and all these wonderful people for partnering with us and getting that done, because you don't want to be a case where something happened and then they come and they want to shut down the vendors, affecting the livelihood, because it's a complete loop now where with the reef boat guys, they do the snorkeling in the reef, and then they bathe on the nylon pool, and then they come to No Man's Land for a meal. So it's a complete loop, and then they go back ashore. So everybody wins there. So it's to provide that needed facility across there.
Right. And I remember, as you indicated, that the tour operators used to make it a part of their package.
Yes.
So you go and they would grill fish, lobster, shrimps, chicken. You would get a meal. But it wasn't a permanent structure. They would
Right.
just go over and give you that natural outdoor type of experience. Now, in recent time, I've seen a number of vendors going over there and now creating actual structures on no man's land. What about the regulatory framework surrounding that? Who gets to vend on no man's land? Is it that anybody could go over there and throw up a tent and sell some food? What is required and how is that being streamlined or even managed by the association?
So all of the members, because the members do include persons from Boko as well. Huh? They have persons from Boko who are part of the association who also do the same type of trade. So now you have different entry points. Gibson Jetty allows persons who may not want to go on the reef, but however they could just take a taxi service via the Gibson Jetty and go across on no man's land. You have a lot more persons doing that now. The fee to go across on no man's land vary between how many people you carry across there, but on weekends on average you have, like now that you have the holiday period, you have a lot of kids with their families coming across there, take boats, go across there. So you have a much active space now, whereas you have the boat taxis, if you want to call it that, making some needed revenue, and then you have more vending across there. So it's and then so through the association, persons are vetted. Currently, we are going to be speaking to persons at health to provide some food handling practices, so that we want to ensure that everything is done in a safe manner to avoid any futuristic issues. So it's all aimed towards providing the perfect product.
And so tell us a bit about actually streamlining who gets to sell there. Like, what is the process that's in place right now and who is in charge of that?
So through the association, they already have some existing vendors that were there. We're not going to interfere with them. It's to work with them and to build out their product properly in terms of how they prepare the food. One of the things that was lacking was the use of a toilet facility and running water. Obviously, this was a huge issue. So the vendors there now, they are with us. We have meetings all the time of how to better their products. The use of heat in terms of keeping their food warm all the time. The use of proper utensils, whether it be stainless steel or these HACCP standards requirements. So it's it's a process, but we want to involve the health officials to just add that cover as relates to regulating how they behave there. But they already have existing persons that were there. It's just to work with them there. There are no new persons there. The people who were there before, they are the ones who created that product, so it's to work with them.
Okay. I have heard about some conflicts brewing as it pertains to payments or the fee surrounding using the facilities that are at no man's land. But you made it clear to me that this investment was made by the association. And it's important for persons to know that this is not something that the THA bought and that the THA should fund, but it's something that the vendors themselves, through the association, invested in to ensure that they have the type of infrastructure needed to maintain a high quality of operations. And so because this is privately funded, it requires the type of financing that is needed to maintain it. Give us a greater understanding or insight into this.
Right. So the toilet is one where it's determined, if they want to call it, of a VIP status, not the luxury toilet, but of a VIP status, meaning that there's a urinal inside it. There's a receptacle where you could wash your hands, and then there's a toilet, all of which is flushable. There's a foot pump for flushing. There's a foot pump for washing your hands. You don't see your waist. There's a flap that opens and closes. So you don't see, it's totally sanitary, but it requires maintenance in terms of the type of chemicals, for the scent, in terms of sanitizing after every time somebody goes there. Removing the sewage from a place like that requires serious logistics at a premium cost. We have one plumbing company by the name of Devine's Plumbing who is assisting in removing the sewage there, and it's at a cost. It's not free, So there is a fee for using
So
this.
is there an operator that would be there,
Yes,
ensuring that it's clean after
correct,
use every hour, or whatever the case may be?
Yeah, so everything will be run and controlled by the vendors there. Someone will be there. There's a fee of $10 that you pay to use the toilet facilities and it is clean each time you go there. So there's going to be more stuff happening there where eventually, it's going to have like a change room for persons with babies. Because I am out there every weekend, sometimes twice a week, and I could tell you when people come across with the children, come across with the babies, simple things as Pampers, you find them in the bushes. You find people with the sanitary napkins and stuff all over. So so we as a responsible organization is going to be able now to collect these things and have it disposed in a very safe way.
And may I make a request on behalf of the public? Usually when persons pay for things, they want quality. And so you spoke about the quality of the environment and keeping it clean. But I am requesting that maybe some level of partnership takes place with one of those corporate companies, whether it be Bryden PI, or those companies that provide those materials like Pampers, like sanitary napkins for women, and just those small things so that when they go into the facilities, they have access to them in case of an incident, or just to ensure that these things are provided.
I will take that on board, and I will definitely make the connections.
Yeah, so and I could always send an email.
Oh, bless your heart, huh?
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break right here, and we'll be back.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy filled.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been chatting this morning with Mr. Ricardo Alfred from the Tobago Water and Trails Association. We've been talking about the new infrastructure that has been placed on no man's land in Tobago to bring some relief to the vendors out there. As we continue our discussions this morning, I have heard about some persons being dissatisfied with the fact that there's a fee connected to using the facilities. Tell us a bit about what has been happening there.
So, in our observation, we realize that persons, were demanding, I'm going to use the word, demanding to use the toilet for free. There's nothing wrong with wanting this, however, it is not really possible. The use of the chemicals, the toilet paper, the special type of toilet paper, the pumping of the sewage, the sanitizing, it comes at a cost. So we have to establish that. Keep in mind, it's not an area where one of these sewage trucks will just drive out there. No, it has to be pumped into a vessel and then from the vessel to a shore. It's a cost, and I hope persons can understand that in order to maintain this, we have to pay top dollar for something like this, because it's not a free service where we have, dealing with this type of product requires money. This is just the bottom line. It requires money. So I hope the public understands that a fee is very, very important to ensure continued operation and to ensure that the toilet facility remains clean at all times. Yes. Right.
And just to remind the public that I'm also advocating for free sanitary products for them inside of that facility. So they'll get their $10 worth. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about sustainability, environmental sustainability, and what the association would be doing to ensure that that is maintained. Because as you said, there are persons who would say, well, I'm not using that. And they may opt to still go the route that they were using before in the bushes. Should there be fines enforced over there if persons decide to not use the toilet facilities and do something that you are working to eradicate?
Yeah, so what the association is trying to accomplish is for the persons involved in this product to be self-sustaining. In most Caribbean countries, this type of product is done by self-regulation actually. We are more moving towards that. The association is made up of key persons involved in this marine field, involved in the environmental field as well. I myself sit as a UNDP lead consultant in many different projects across the Caribbean to doing these said stuff. I have been with the Institute of Marine Affairs for the last 7 years as deputy chairman, in which I opted not to go back to there. But so it is something that we take very serious as relates to the environment, and the vendors will ensure policy, and they would ensure that persons do the right thing. I'm 100% certain of that, because dealing with food and stuff like that. So I'm appealing to the patrons. Come on down on a weekend, come on down on a weekday, anytime after 11, and you can get some nice food. You can get some lobster, shrimp, kebabs, you get chicken. It's a whole, you even get the different types of pulori. You can get the regular pulori, you can get the beetroot pulori. It's this whole, and then you have the nice drinks, So I'm appealing to persons, if you don't wish to take the reef boat to go on, so just want to come and chill with your family, Gibson Jetty, and then they will have someone who will take you across and bring you back safely. There's lights there now on the Gibson Jetty for you to park your car safely. There was a lot of incidents before, but now we are putting things in place. You're going to see some changes happening from the association. We are going to be partnering with a few corporate entities in terms of making this whole product better, right?
Well, I might take you up on that offer. I might find myself on no man's land sometime this week. Well, we want to thank you so much, Ricardo, for being here with us this morning. And we're going to take a quick break right here, and we'll be back after this. See you soon.